I have a social media page? In these social media pages, do we have friends who follow us? Yes, that is the purpose of it, right? I've got hundreds of Facebook friends I've never met. When I was young, we called them imaginary friends. That is the case actually of today's generation. They believe that the more friends they have, the more friend requests they get, the more likes they'll get, and the more popular they'll become. Well, who knows? They might go viral. That is something that probably that's what they want. And there's some adults who are also with that mentality. Let's be careful with that. Number one, this is what we're doing right now. Know your school, county, and state social media guidelines for employees. You are taking the time right now to learn about the employee handbook and the guidelines that we have in the district. But do you know that there are also county and state social media guidelines? Whenever you have time, Google it. There are some out there. For example, the state social media guidelines for employees, not just for teachers and educators. And of course, we also have the board policy. And TASB recommendations as well. And as a matter of fact, we have all of these links listed in our instructional technology website. And if you would like to have it, just ask your media specialist and they'll email it to you. Number two, do not friend or follow students and or parents on your personal social media accounts. Implement a rule that students can follow or friend you only after they graduate. When I was a teacher at Margaret Middle School, my students would find my Facebook right away. And obviously, they would send me friend requests. I already knew about this rule, so I actually would never accept that. So the following day, my students were like hurt because I did not accept their friend request. So I would explain to them that one day I would accept their friend request, but that would have to be after graduation. Guess what? All of those students have graduated already. Yes, I'm that old. Anyway, so now I do have friends in Facebook who are former students of mine. What do you think is the difference? Any student who is registered in Redmond ISD pre-K to 12, they are considered minors. And there's a lot of laws that actually protect the minors. You're probably asking yourself, well, how come parents? Why are you saying not parents? There's a big reason why. I know that we work in a very small community. And a lot of times, parents know that you're a teacher and you're probably teaching their child, and they feel like, oh, yeah, I want to be different. I want to see what's going on in Facebook in their life, right? So they request you. Let's be careful with that. Because those might be the parents that actually checking of all of the posts. If you make any mistakes, what kind of posts you do, if you're a good example to the children, and so on. If you actually are a friend to one of the parents that you know, you probably, I don't know, you probably graduated with them and you know them personally, then yes, you can have them as friends. We recommend for you not to have parents that just because you are teaching their children, they're requesting you. And then you might feel like obligated to accept them. You have the right not to accept. I don't know if you're familiar with Twitter. Twitter is a little bit different than Facebook. In Facebook, actually, they request you in order for them to see your post. On Twitter, depending on your settings, people can follow you, and that way they can see the things that you post. Do you know that Facebook actually has that feature? A little bit different, but actually sometimes people can follow your post without being your friend. Issues like this. So let's say you visit someone's page. Facebook changes very often, but usually this is how it looks like. You have 3 buttons here. One, to request you as a friend. If they don't want to request you as a friend, they can follow you. Again, it all depends on your settings. And or message you. To follow you by default, I mean, when they click on follow, that means they're probably going to start seeing their newsfeed, all of your posts. Well, actually, the posts are made public. If you didn't know about this, you can always go to your settings and check. And if it's possible, change the settings. So that way, people who are not your friends don't follow you. This is how you do it. So you're actually going to go and look for the public posts. From here, it is asking you who can follow me. If you click on this tab right here, you actually can select only my friends or no one. It's up to you. Why? Why is it very important that we know who our friends are? Remember, I told you you work with the school district. You work your work is very important. In other words, you have to be a role model. And if you make a mistake, because we're human beings, and you make a mistake and you post something you're not supposed to, it could cost your job. It could be very bad and there could be consequences for it. For example, this is a real post. I don't know if you're familiar with those joint accounts, and I'm talking about Facebook right now. Usually it's with couples, right? That they prefer to use only one account with two names. A teacher and his girlfriend will have the same joint account. The, so he knows that as a teacher, he has to be careful with things that he posts. The girlfriend didn't care about that. So actually, she will post things and then let's see what happens. Here's a screenshot of that post. You can see right here, and I don't have to describe it to you. But this was supposed to be a selfie just for him, for the boyfriend, who's the teacher. The big mistake of the teacher is that also he had students as friends in his Facebook account. So she posts this and then she captions it. Here you go, baby. And then the smiley face. Notice that this post got 103 likes 90 minutes later, right? One of the students posts the comment, wow, nice picture, Mr. Lowe. Another student says, hey, Mr. Lowe. At this point, probably 15 minutes later, the teacher probably saw it and he notices that and he posts, OMG, how do I take this down? Later, the girlfriend replies, this was supposed to be a private message. So, what happens next? The teacher gets fired. This is from an insane teacher. Um, she posted a picture and her mistake again. She posts things she's not supposed to. And she has students as friends in Facebook and also co-worker. Let's see what she posted. So she posted a selfie. Yeah, it's a crazy selfie. Her name is Angela. And she captions it, Selfie Sunday, winky face. Then one of her friends comments and says, looking good, Ange. A student comments and says, and this is why you're my favorite teacher. A coworker who's also a teacher sees that and he comments. His name is Greg. Wait, you have your students on here? Rookie mistake. Might as well get this off my chest. I'm the one who keeps stealing your lunch from the faculty fridge. It started as an accident, and then I just did it to piss you off. I feel like I can finally tell you that since you're probably so fired tomorrow. This teacher got fired. The number 3 guidelines in having social media page. Keep your profile pictures clean. Do you know that there's a big difference between the pictures that you post and the pictures that you have as a profile picture? Profile pictures basically are ID pictures, right? Meaning that every time you post, your picture is going to appear. And by default, in all the social media pages, not just Facebook, all the social media pages, the profile picture is actually public. Even when you have it as private, they can Google you and find those pictures. So let me give you an example, something that happened to me. My daughter, who's right now is 12 years old, when she was 5, she asked me if she could use my cell phone. She told me, Mom, I want to make a collage. If you don't know what a collage is, basically it is a digital poster where you put pictures and then decorate. It took her 10 minutes to design a nice poster. So when she was done, she's like, here you go, Mom, I made this collage for you. And I get it and I see it and I'm impressed actually because she's 5 years old. She has a really nice designed poster. And then I see like these are pictures of me. I'm like, oh cool, nice. Now when I see the pictures, I start paying attention. And I just realized something. That in that phone I did not have those pictures that she put in that poster. So I asked her, Alex, where did you get those pictures? Those are not in my phone. And she just replies, Oh, Mom, I just Googled you. Yes, that was an eye opener for me. I couldn't believe that my 5-year-old daughter actually Googled her mom's name and found pictures to make me a nice collage. Have you Googled yourselves? Don't worry, I'm not gonna Google you. But just to show you what I'm talking about, if you would Google your name, right? In my case, I'm gonna Google my name, Dara Cepeda, and then I go into pictures, images. It's gonna give me pictures that I have published in the past as a profile picture. And let me tell you something. Some of these pictures, I actually deleted them. They're not live right now. Okay? Of course, there's some that are not mine, but even my paintings, look at that. Now, the good thing is that all of these pictures are clean. So, yes, profile pictures are very important. You have to make sure that these pictures are kept clean because, like I said, even when you delete them, sometimes they're still in the search engine. Your profile picture should never show alcohol, drugs, or any kind of pose that actually showing like a gang sign or a provocative pose. You know what I mean? Because even when you have your profile locked down for privacy, your profile picture can still appear on search engines. As a matter of fact, when you go to a job interview, before you get interviewed, the employers actually do a social media scan. And basically, what they do, they want to see what kind of person you are. At the end, I'm going to show you a video so you can have an idea how this can affect your professional life. Here's an example of a teacher. I know that header says, teacher fired for drinking on vacation. Seriously, that is not the case. Remember, I told you, be very careful not to have parents as friends. Well, she did have parents as friends. In her profile picture, she posted herself holding wine glasses. So she went into a vacation to Ireland. She had a great time, right? She's a human being. Come on. She is a teacher. She has a very stressful job. She has a right to drink with her friends. Why not? But she posted that on Facebook. So she posted that on Facebook, and later on, she makes another post with more drinks. A parent who actually saw it and they screenshotted that. The parent started saying and posting somewhere else that, what kind of teacher is this? Is this the kind of teacher that I want for my child? Seriously, what is next? Is she gonna start teaching our kids how to drink? So you have to make sure that you do not show or do not post these kind of pictures because, again, you don't know who might screenshot it. And then, of course, that one who's going to have consequences, it'll be the user. So, yes, she was fired. Number 4, remember, it is possible to take a screenshot on Snaps or Snapchat post can last forever. I don't know if you're familiar with Snapchat. This is one of the favorite apps for our students. The difference between Facebook and Snapchat is that in a Snapchat, your story or pictures or videos, whatever you share, it'll be previewed or people can see it only for 24 hours or less. The same thing when it comes to sending messages via Snapchat. As soon as the user reads it, that message disappears. And that is the reason why the students or the youth love this app because they think it is only temporarily. In other words, that they can say, they can express themselves however they want and they can post whatever they want, thinking that it's going to disappear and that's it. But of course, that is not the case. People can always take screenshots. There's different ways you can do a screenshot. For example, and as a matter of fact, one of the features of this app is that as soon as another person takes a screenshot, the user is being notified about that. But it doesn't matter. I mean, people can still do it. Not only that, let's say you don't want the user to find out that you are screenshotting that post. You can also, by using another phone of that picture post or take a video with an iPad. It doesn't have to be a phone or with anything that can take a picture. There's a lot of different ways to do that. So in reality, It doesn't matter what kind of app you use for social media, people can take a screenshot in a second. Guideline number 5, set all of your personal social media account to private. You have homework tonight. Make sure that you check your media accounts that they are set to private because you don't want to have issues with strangers or with enemies following your posts. Also, I don't know if you're familiar with Instagram. So if you have an Instagram account, set it to private. That way you must approve of anyone who views your posts. Remember, there's also this feature. With Instagram, can also link your account, your Facebook account. And sometimes when you post a picture on Instagram, it'll automatically post it on Facebook. So you might not have the same friends that you have on Instagram that you have on Facebook. Make sure that you check on that and make any changes if you need to. Also, when you do a hashtag is more like a footprint. So whenever they Google the hashtag, even if it's set to private, they can find it right away thanks to the hashtag. The next example actually has happened in a lot of different workplaces. Is this kind of cases where they call in sick and they say, "Hey, I won't be able to go to work today. I'm feeling real sick," and then 2 hours later they're posting things on Facebook or in their social media pages that they're having a blast at a certain place. Okay, so this is what happened with this person. So he calls in with a family emergency. But later, he posted that he is at a Halloween party. As you can see, he's having fun. He's dressed up and he's actually wearing a costume. And not only that, look at that, he's having that beer. So, yes, he's having fun. He had coworkers as friends in Facebook, and yes, of course, he got fired. Arlington CIST. This happened in 2012. This is about a male secretary who was during the weekend in his computer, his personal computer, and then he receives an email with a picture of the President Obama. And it's a caption contest. It's requesting for him to caption something. I don't know if you have seen those memes that just a really funny picture, and then you have to put like a caption this, a sentence to make it more funny. So he did. He posted something. This is actually in a blog, in a website where you can actually have a conversation with another person. So he does that. A person from the community actually finds it, they see it, they screenshot it, and then they take it, they post it into a Facebook page, kind of like a chisme page. And this person actually posts this with this caption. Click on the above picture. Read then the comment made by one of your directors, Abel Gonzalez. Is that what you're teaching your students? Is this the racism that you want Americans to have? I think he should be fired. And then, of course, this post became viral. I mean, they were sharing it, commenting, and then the school, of course, they started doing an investigation, and there were consequences. He was terminated. Number 6, if you mention your school name in any post, they can find it. The school name is actually an organization name. And in the search engines, when you Google the name of the school, anything that has the name of the school can appear in the search engines. So you never know. I mean, there's nothing wrong in you mentioning the school name in your post. If it's something positive, that's all right. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But if it's something negative, if it's something that is not going to talk good about the school or something that's happening and it's negative, controversial, then that could be something you have to consider not to do. Even with privacy settings, your post could be found on search engines. Here's an example of a retired teacher. She's a retired teacher who decides to come back to work. After a bad day, she posts in her Facebook. Now I remember why I stopped teaching kids. They're all germ bags. Then she continues later. She goes back and posts this. So not looking forward to another year at, and then she mentions the name of the school. Because of the name of the school, obviously they found this post, and then there were consequences. Guideline number 7. This one goes hand in hand with that previous example. Never complain about your job online. We are human beings. We're gonna have bad days. Yes, we are. It doesn't matter what your position is, we are gonna have bad days because that's how it goes. That's life. But there's something you have to remember. Do not vent on Facebook. Do not vent in your social media pages. Okay? You know, it might seem very natural or normal. Nowadays, people do it and they think it's freedom of speech. That's not really freedom of speech because your social media page is not your vent diary. Don't vent in your social network, especially if you are followed by your school and or co-workers. This is a good practice for all professionals, not just teachers. In other words, if you can say anything nice, don't say anything at all. And don't write it on Facebook either. For example, this teacher, she had a very bad day after going to a field trip with her fifth graders. After that bad day, she went straight to her social media page, Facebook, and she posted a post that basically says that she wants to drown the fifth graders. One of her friends asked, "Won't you throw a life jacket to little Wami?" This is a student. Her response, "Yes, I will not throw a life jacket in for a million." She was fired. This other professor, who's after a few days after the shooting at the University of Alabama, she had a bad day. And her post says, "Does anyone know where I can find a very discreet hitman?" Yes, it's been that kind of day. That post might be funny, but really, that was a threat. And that is because when we are upset at something, we're not thinking. So the best thing to do is to stay away from your social media pages and do not post it. Do not vent on your social media page. And the last guideline number 8. Never, ever, ever post photos of your students on your personal social media page. There's a big difference between a school page and a personal page. You're gonna find parents that they love bragging about their kids in Facebook or in any social media page. They have great achievements, they take pictures, they post it there, and they love that, right? While at the same time, there's other parents who do not like that. They're very private, they're very careful with the pictures of their kids. For that reason, we have to be very careful. And there is a lot that protects this. This protects the parents and the students about that. It is called the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, FERPA. So, in every school campus, actually, we do have a page that is actually already doing that. They're already taking pictures of the event with the students in it. What I'm saying is the people who manage these pages are being trained and we make sure that we follow FERPA. When the parent registers a child, there is a form that it's a waiver. Every year, the parent has to sign a waiver, whether they give us permission or not, for us to post it in our social media pages or website. If we do not have permission from them, then what we have to do actually is to blur out the face or crop or modify the picture in a way that we're not showing their children in our website or in our social media pages posts. There's a lot of reasons. For example, social media pages, most of the time, they're gonna post the location. For example, what if a friend tells a parent that they saw their children in a teacher's or someone else's social media page? And not only that, but in the picture, you can find the location of that picture taken. Also, information about what school that is, and more information. And you see, all of this is dangerous because you don't know what friends the teacher or the employee has, what kind of friends they have. You don't know what they might do with that information. So that's why it's very important that we do not post pictures of our students, unless, of course, they're related to you or you have permission from the parents. The prevalence of social media, it's getting harder and harder to separate our personal and professional lives. It's to the point that we need to assume that almost everything we share online, even privately, will be public. I'm going to close this training with this video so you can see how the social media scan is done whenever you apply to a job and how social media can actually affect your life personally and professionally.
Let's talk for a second about losing a job before the interview even happens. It is possible, and it's happening to people now who don't even realize it, and in many cases, all because of their social media.
So tonight, Jeff Paul explains what to look for in your own internet presence to help protect you at work.
It's where we share our memories, our photos, and sometimes our opinions. But when it comes to social media, some of us might be sharing too much.
We're not only looking at the types of comments that they're making, we're also looking for spelling, grammar. It's an online resume.
Job recruiter Jolene Risch says when a new applicant comes in, she starts with Google.
Who they are 24 hours a day is important to the company.
She then checks the obvious places: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Risch watches for unprofessional photos, curse words, racist or sexist comments, red flags she says companies want to know about before the candidates walk into the interview.
We're not fishing for bad content.
She's also checking how often they're posting on social media.
You see that someone posts, 3, 4, 5 times a day, you're wondering, well, shouldn't they be working?
But just the opposite is also a red flag.
If I can't find someone at all, I'm wondering, is this person who they really are?
Dallas-based Fortune 500 company Southwest Airlines hired close to 7,000 people last year, and recruiters use social media to find many of them.
Look at your social media from the lens of an employer and say, what would people think about that?
State Farm's new North Texas hub at Richardson saw 2,000 new hires in its first year and still has hundreds of empty desks to fill. The company says it uses Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to engage with potential hires before hiring events.
You should always be prepared and have a proactive approach to make sure you're keeping in mind that the job field is really competitive and you want to make a positive first impression, whether that's in person or online.
Even if your social media footprint isn't so clean, it's not too late to spruce up your online profiles.
Hit delete. Delete is your friend.
UT Dallas social media professor Janet Johnson says what you share becomes your brand.
Do you have a lot of drinking pictures on your profile? Are you cursing on Twitter? Are you complaining about companies? Are you complaining about your boss?
Johnson says if you wouldn't show a picture or recite a post to your boss, it shouldn't be out there.
One tweet can ruin your life.
While deleting old photos and comments will help, Johnson says creating a professional presence on the web will too.
Instead of like cuties@gmail.com, have a name, janetjohnson@gmail.com.
She says changing privacy settings are an option, but if you're questioning a post, it's best not to hit send in the first place.
Data doesn't die. Everyone has a camera phone now that you can easily take a screenshot of anything.
Now, experts say the other tip is to create a LinkedIn profile or to start making daily posts that are more professional to put some of those inappropriate posts from the past further down. Doug and Caitlin?
Yeah, 3 people sitting here like delete.
Exactly.
It's good advice, and the reality is today we thought it was just a problem for our kids, but man, adults are in this game too now.
Real.
Everybody's got to watch out. It's good advice.
Thank you.
After this training, I know that a lot of employees feel like starting deleting some friends and probably some posts, and that's okay. Please do so. Again, this training is to protect you as an employee, and it is your responsibility to be a role model in and outside of school. Thank you so much for your attention. If you have any questions, please contact me. My name is Sara Cepeda, and I am the Instructional Technology Coordinator. Have a great day.